What the going on this team, Jerry?
Bury him! Bury him!
Jerry, TJ Watt.
He is the best defensive player on the planet.
Go! Yes! Yes! We're going to fire! Steelers fans! Bang! Run it down their throat!
No! That's not a penalty!
Game over! Game over! Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
He's aggressive.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Steel Here podcast, where I'm your host, Kevin Adams, alongside my partner in crime, Jersey, Jerry. Jerry Don, it is week 18 of the NFL season. This is it, man. This is the final week of the season. The Pittsburgh Steelers sit at 10-6. We're coming off of 3 straight losses. They got more embarrassing as the losses went on, to be honest with you, Jerry. Vibes are pretty low for Steelers fans. So just a pre-warning to people about to watch this episode. I don't know how cheery it can possibly be after 3 straight losses, because, Jerry, if the Pittsburgh Steelers look that far away when they play a legitimate team, okay, when they're healthy and we don't have excuses to lean on, and they're still that far from looking like a competitor, I mean, what's that telling you about the state of the team, Jerry? Are they frauds? Is that where we should be thinking at this point?
You know, it's tough. It's tough to say frauds. Not really tough to say, but looking back, let's go all the way back to week 1. And before we start to get negative, let's get positive for a second. Had a blast recording this whole year so far. Week 18 pretty much made it to the end. Who knows if we'll do another podcast, but, it might be sooner rather than later that this Steeler podcast is done for the year so far. But it's been fun. Appreciated everybody who tuned in, subscribed, liked, comment. Had a blast. Can't wait to run it back next year. Anyway, okay. So, frauds, I don't know. Look back into, before the offseason, where do we think this team would be? We said, 12-5. 11 and 6. Did we say that? Some of that stuff?
Somewhere in that ballpark. Yep, it's exactly where we were.
So we're not so far off. I just think the timing of it was really bad for them. So what were we, a game or 2 off? I mean, we weren't. It's not like we predicted this team to go 15 and 2. You know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
So I mean, we're kind of where we all thought we would be, but these losses these last couple weeks have been brutal, man. Are they far away? Yeah, probably. Have they dealt with some injuries? Yeah, they have. Is everybody back to being healthy pretty much? Yeah, so we'll see. But, I mean, I don't know, man, Kev. It's these last few weeks, it took a lot out of me. And ruined Christmas, actually. Ruined my Christmas. I couldn't even eat on Christmas. And I like to eat a lot, you know what I mean?
It was terrible.
It was, and you took the time out to spend money and spend it away from your family on Christmas at the game. Atmosphere started out great, and they just shit the bed, man. They did these last couple of weeks. I think the big story is they're just getting dominated a lot in the trenches. Not the best quarterback play by any means. Some turnovers, key turnovers, fumbles, defense not getting turnovers. It's like a little bit of everything. You can't really just blame it on one thing. It's just everything that we feared, beginning of the year. Wide receiver room, it's been poor. It caught up to us late in the year, you know what I mean? So all these things, young offensive line started out great. They look worse and worse as the year goes on. So it's all these things we talked about in the beginning of the year in the offseason that are coming back to bite us in the ass late.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at the Chiefs game, because that to me was the true measuring stick. And we said that, we play the Eagles, we're injured, who knows how we're going to look. We go on, then we play the Ravens, still injured. We don't look good in that game again. But for me, we play the Chiefs in what we thought was the most beatable Chiefs team. Just from a statistic standpoint, that is the most beatable Chiefs team that we're going to get a chance to play in the Mahomes era so far. And they run us off of our own field. I mean, from the opening drives, they pretty much just did whatever they wanted. The Steelers, while I thought we ran the ball very well at points in the game, and I thought Jaylen Warren had a ton of pop, I thought he looked great out of the backfield. You only scored 10 points, and Russ on the opening drive that we have, he's scrambling around. He almost fumbles the football as he's trying to, make a play happen. At that point, I'm like, shit, he's trying to already do too much. A couple drives later, they're down 14-0. The Steelers are marching. Could be about to score, and then this is where things start to get fucked up on the day. George Pickens, whether he runs his route, he doesn't run his route, everybody has come out and said, Tomlin even defended him. It's not George's fault. If George runs his route, Justin Reed probably doesn't leave the middle of the field anyway. It's irrelevant. The ball gets picked off in the end zone. It felt like he forced it. Russ, I feel like in the last couple of weeks has been, while he's been good, I think he's been good outside of his idiot types of boneheaded plays. I thought he's been pretty good and carried the offense. The problem that I have with it is that, Jerry, he's doing it in the red zone in crucial times. Like, it's starting to really add up. This team is not good enough to turn the ball over the way that they have. And so the quarterback play has been slightly below the line. But also, Jerry, the defense is horrendous.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, listen, obviously I'm going to ride for Russ, to the very end, till the wheels fall off, which they might be coming off sooner rather than later. But let's just, I mean, you can't start games down 2-3 scores. I mean, you just can't do it. It's tough. And like I said, it's a little bit of everything, dude. It's poor quarterback play at times. It's a bad wide receiver room, blocking, offensive line, defensive line. It's secondary. But dude, the secondary has major problems these last couple. I mean, major guys are coming out. Sounds like it's one person. Is that person Minka? Is it Cam Sutton? I don't know.
I think everybody has come to the conclusion it's probably Cam Sutton. At points, I think Minka is doing things that he shouldn't be doing, and I think that they realize that. He's playing kind of hero ball at times, but for the most part, I would say that it's Cam Sutton. And a lot of the Steelers' issues in the last 5 weeks. Okay, so Cam Sutton has only started the last 5 games pretty much over Beanie Bishop. And in those 5 games, the Steelers' defense has just fallen apart with miscommunications on the back end. Now, I'm not saying that I thought Beanie Bishop was better than Cam Sutton, and I thought Cam Sutton would be a great addition, but it appears as though this guy just cannot get on the same page as everybody else in the defense, and it is just wide open plays. You have Deshaun Elliott talking shit about it, Cam Hayward talking shit, Patrick Queen. I mean, all these guys have no problem now saying that everyone else is doing their job except for one person. You have Patrick Queen saying these things aren't getting addressed. They're bringing it up. It's not getting addressed. This is why year after year I get so pissed off at this football team, because in week 17, Jerry, miscommunications again. This is not just this season. We've heard this in years prior. They use the term popcorn. Is that not a term that we've heard them say in years past? I just heard Cam Hayward say it yesterday in an interview. The defensive miscommunications are popcorn. And in week 18, Jerry, we shouldn't be dealing with popcorn.
No, Kev, I think, the way this season started, I was looking forward to possibly the last week of the season, maybe the last 2, not even have to play guys.
Right.
That's how good I thought this football team was. I thought they would have the North clinched up by then. Yep. So I was looking at the last week or 2 of the season. You're not even going to have to play much. You know what I mean? You're probably already going to know what you're going to be, seating-wise. But, here we are again, like we are every year. Have something to play for in week 17. Whether they get – I mean, they can they realistically get a 3 seed? They can, right?
They could win the division. If the Ravens lose to the Browns and we beat the Bengals, we would win the division. But let's be realistic. That isn't going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen. So if they win, they get the 5?
If they win, they're the 5 seed. Even if the Ravens win, if the Steelers win, they're the 5 seed, which would mean we're going to Houston.
Houston, yeah. We'll go to Houston. Well, I'd rather go to Houston, obviously, than Baltimore. So maybe that's a, blessing in disguise. Who knows? But listen, I mean, for what, though? I mean, this team has not shown me anything, up until this point this year that they can be good in the playoffs. I mean, it's the longer the season goes on, it looks like it's more of a one and done type of team.
Right. And that's what is scary. That's what's scary to me, is that while yes, we get to 10-3, now 10-6 after 3 straight losses, but I thought maybe this team is different than the years past. Jerry, they're not different. Yeah. They beat the teams that are inferior to them. They can't contend with the elite teams. There's elite echelon and then there's good teams. The Steelers are in that good team range. Yeah,
they're a good team. I would say you're right on that. There's elite with the juggernauts, and then there's good teams, and then there's bad teams and really bad teams. They're just a good team, Kevin.
But what is the reason we can't make that jump, Jerry? What's the reason? Because I don't think it's a talent thing. It's not a talent thing for me. I think that is a very talented football team. Say what you really think it could be.
Dude, I honestly, listen, you look at the defense, right? And even my buddies, and I told you this on the phone a couple days ago, obviously we're fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know every Steeler inside and out. And, other people from, different fan bases, Cowboys, whatever. I got a buddy, and he knows every single player pretty much on the Steelers defense. And he doesn't really watch the Steelers. They have stars all over the field.
Exactly.
They're loaded on defense. There's no reason that, Mike Tomlin's defensive first mentality, this team should be holding teams to 20 points a game, 17 points, 18 points. And they're not, dude. And I don't know if it's Tomlin calling the plays on defense, Terrell Lawson, whatever the case may be. Mike Tomlin, has got this rap that he is a great coach. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great one. I don't.
Jerry, there's just no way he can be like, and this has been my biggest gripe about Mike Tomlin. And every year we circle back to this when the road gets narrow, as he likes to say. Yes, when the road gets narrow, Mike Tomlin's teams they're not getting better at the end of the seasons, Jerry.
They're not.
And this is many years now. Like I don't know what excuses we can make anymore. We watch Hard Knocks, we get excited. They're 10-3. It feels like this year is different. And then when the road gets narrow, Jerry, since the Steelers have last won a playoff game, they are 19-19 in the month of December. That is quite literally an average football team. 5 of the last 7 years, the Steelers have had a 3-game losing streak after Thanksgiving. Okay, so you're talking about when the road gets narrow and you beat your chest and say, "We'll unleash hell in December." There is no hell, Jerry. This team is not getting better. And if he is a defensive-minded head coach, okay, and he puts offense second, which there's no doubting that the Pittsburgh Steelers put offense second based on their roster construction.
100%, yeah.
They have the highest paid defense. They have the second lowest paid offense. Okay, so that tells you that if that defense from a defensive-minded head coach is not good enough to carry you or at least level the playing field when you play these elite teams like the Chiefs, then should you not start to consider either A, the mindset of the football team is wrong if you want to be defense first and your highest paid defense is still not good enough, or B, is it that you need new coaching staff, because this coaching staff obviously is not fucking getting it done with the talent that they have.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. And, quite frankly, there's probably a couple guys on defense that are overpaid for sure. I would say definitely. But the thing is this, Kevin, like he's not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not gonna fire him. They're not gonna, let him. He's gonna walk on his own terms, whether that's next year, the year after, or 5 or 10 years from now. That's just how they do business. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And they're just gonna be stuck in their ways. What I would love to see is hey, going into next year, like, we're going to pay people on offense. We got to bring in talent on offense. Like,
it has to change. It has to change.
Look at the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals offense is loaded with talent. They have probably one of the worst defenses in football.
For sure.
Secondary. I mean, it's horrible. They have no pass rush besides the guy on the edge, Trey Hendrickson. I mean, they're in every single game. Every game they're in. And they score 30, 40 points a game. I mean, you don't need an elite defense to win a Super Bowl. You just don't need one.
You need a good defense. You need a capable defense, Jerry.
Yeah.
The Steelers fucked up when they let Brian Flores walk and kept Terrell Austin. Like that is the facts of the situation. Look what Brian Flores has done with the Minnesota Vikings, 31st ranked defense last year. This year, 15. And there's no way they have anywhere near the type of talent that the Steelers have on the defensive side of the ball.
Not even close.
When it comes back to the players saying there's miscommunications, nothing is changing. We don't know why this is happening. You have multiple players saying it. You have a very loaded defense. The defense sucks. You have a defensive-minded head coach. Your defensive coordinator you haven't changed in 3 seasons now, and everything still sucks. Then why the fuck are we trying the same shit and expecting the results to be different? That's why going into the playoffs again, Jerry, we back into the playoffs. And so, it's hard to, Steelers fans are so lucky. They're so fucking blessed. They have all this, they win all the time. We're not winning anything, really. If this team is not going to ever get to the same level as the elites, for me, I wouldn't care if they would lose if the games were closer, because then it would be like, at least, hey, Jerry, we're getting close, man. Like, what they're doing is almost getting them over the hump, but they're not. They haven't even started to climb the hump.
Yeah, they're getting blown out. I mean, they're getting the doors fucking blown out off them, man. I mean, within the first 5-7 minutes of a game,
pounded. They're completely outclassed.
Oh yeah, and that first drive. I mean, another thing, Kevin, is this, and we should talk about this a little bit. Tomlin likes to say in his pressers that the way you start the game doesn't really matter. I mean, I think it matters a lot, dude. I mean, they are starting they can't even get an opening drive touchdown. I mean, it's been, I think, 18 or 19 games in a row where they haven't had an opening drive touchdown. They're second to Seattle, I believe. If I'm pretty sure that's right. I mean, they have to start games faster, dude. They have to score first. They just refuse to score in the beginning of a game, and you look up and it's 13-0, 14-0, 7-0, 17-3. I mean, what do you do? I mean, then Tomlin makes some halftime adjustments. They get it a little closer. You feel like they're there, and boom, fourth quarter, team runs away with it. I mean,
Jerry, the play calling's been terrible. On the offensive side of the football as well, the play calling has been absolutely pussy shit. It has been pussy small ball football, Jerry. This is 3 games in a row now where it'll be something like 3rd and 3, and you have Cordero Patterson on the fucking field. Not Jalen Warren, not Najee Harris. Cordero Patterson on the fucking football field, dude. They're calling some of the dumbest plays at the worst times, and it's 3rd and 3. You're gonna try and run it up the middle with Cordero Patterson. Like, I just and then when it looks like it should be an instance where you would go for it later in the game, Tomlin will punt the ball but leave the starters out there.
Oh,
you know, this is again, he did it again, Jerry. We talked about it after the Ravens game. He did it again in the Chiefs game. They have no rhyme or reason for the way that they do things. Again, I hate to harp on stupid shit like not knowing when to throw a challenge flag, but again, Chiefs catch a ball that obviously hits the ground. Tomlin doesn't throw a challenge flag. Like, what do they do well in game from an X's and O's standpoint? What do the Pittsburgh Steelers do well that out schemes other teams? You know what they try to do? Not turn it over, play small ball, win it in the fourth quarter. Either your defense wins it or you keep it to a 1-score game. If you have to come out and shoot out, they're not prepared to do it.
Oh, no. I mean, you heard Tomlin in his recent presser. He's talking about they're losing these games because they're not getting splash plays on defense. They're not getting turnovers on defense. Listen, dude. You're not going to get turnovers every fucking game of the year.
That cannot be the way you win games. That cannot be the sole way you win football games. That's idiocy if you think your team is built to win that way.
I mean, that's his only answer is like, you know, we're not getting we're costly turnovers in the red zone, and we're not getting turnovers on defense. We need to get turnovers. Dude, there's going to be games where you're not going to get turnovers, and you might not turn the ball over. You just have to figure out ways to fucking win games. I forget which game it was this year. There was a team in the NFL that had 5 turnovers. They had 5 turnovers and won
lost the game. Yeah, it was the Lions.
They won
the Detroit Lions. They had 5 turnovers and they won the game.
Yes, they had 5 turnovers. They won. They figured out a way. Could you imagine if the Steelers had 5 turnovers? They'd fucking lose fucking 60-something to fucking 10.
Jerry, I guess, you know, why, again, circling back to this, and like the season isn't over, but I have to get this out and you have to get it out. And I think all Steelers fans feel the same way if you're being honest with yourself. When is the last time you can remember us, you know, Tomlin always likes to talk about 5-star matchups, okay? Oh, it's a 5-star matchup. When's the last time we've won? Take the Ravens out of it. Take the Baltimore Ravens out of it. When's the last time you can remember us beating an elite team? You know, 2 games come to mind, Bengals week 1 or Bills week 1, and those are both week 1 games. Aside from that, late in the season when the Steelers are playing a juggernaut, when's the last time you think they've won?
Pats?
That's what 2018. 2018 Patriots would be the last time, and we didn't even make the playoffs that year.
Here we go. Darkest time.
Fucking lights, Jerry. Oh, these fucking lights. It is the darkest times. Steelers haven't beat a big-time team in fucking 6 seasons, Jerry, late in the year. That's why I'm getting pissed off. If Steelers fans want to say it's a rebuild, okay, how long does a rebuild fucking take before this team is on the same level? Not all the time beating them, but when the fuck are we going to beat these teams?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, now there's like, I'm sure there's some type of tension in the locker room, and I know there is in the fan base when it comes to quarterback. I don't think there should be a quarterback change. No. Should maybe Justin Fields get some more snaps? Maybe, sure, that's fine. I just don't think Justin Fields is a great deep ball passer.
That ship has sailed. It's week 18. It's Russell Wilson's football team. It's not Justin Fields' football team. Maybe in the offseason we reassess, but Russell Wilson is starting this week and he's starting in the playoffs. Like, it's not even worth us wasting the very little time we ever do use to record. It's not even worth us wasting that conversation. I just want it to be known, and Steelers fans, you have to stop that. We have to stop doing that. It's not going to be Justin Fields' team. It's Russ until the end of the year.
Yeah, honestly, if I was to take a guess right now, they are, I would say 98% paying Russell Wilson.
I'm gonna honestly need to see the playoffs at this point.
Regardless of what happens, I believe.
I think I need to see the playoffs, Jerry, because like he has not played. Like I said, he's been decent. I would say average the last 3 weeks, but he's also costing the team as well. Okay, he's trying to do too much. He tried to do too much in the Ravens game running it. He was trying to do too much, almost turned it over on the opening drive against the Chiefs. He forced the ball to Pat Freiermuth. He throws the bad turnover in the Ravens game, the pick 6. He's just trying to do too much. If Russ would go back to, sitting back, but yet, do you think Russ isn't a realist and saying, look, our defense can't stop shit either. I have to make plays myself.
That's another thing too, like that, people, aren't looking at either, is like they're down 17-3 most games. They're down 14-0. I mean, like, you got to take chances. You know what I mean? I know it sucks, but like, more times than not, they're down. It's not like they're ever within 3. You know what I mean? They're usually down 17-0, 17-3. 21 to fucking 10
in the last few weeks. Yes, early in the season they were never really in those types of situations. This is the first time we're having to see the team actually fucking claw back, and it doesn't look like they're capable of doing it.
Yeah, I don't think so either, to be honest, Kev. I don't think they're capable right now.
It's frustrating just because you want to be peaking going into the playoffs, and we're not even close to peaking. Like we're struggling to find our way. And you can blame the 3 games in 11 days. You can blame the injuries, all that. We're going to find out Sunday when we play the Bengals, because the Bengals are fucking playing with their lives on the line. And I suggested something to you that's interesting. I said, what if the Bengals do beat us and they get in? Okay. And I know this sounds fucking crazy and it's a wild tin hat type of conspiracy theory, but if the Bengals would get in and the Steelers would end up being the 6th seed, okay, and we would have to go to Baltimore, we can beat the Ravens. Okay. Even as bad as it has been these last 3 weeks,
100%.
We are familiar. We are capable. We have done it enough times. Even when we played there, while the game looked out of hand at the end, the Steelers were in it right up until Russ throws the pick 6. Okay. Yeah. We can beat the Ravens. Hypothetically, the Bengals sneak in the back door. That team is piping hot, Jerry. In round 1 of the wild card round, they would go to Buffalo. You don't think Joe Burrow, who I will say on record, I think is the MVP of the league this season. I think he's the MVP of the league this season. You don't think Joe Burrow could go to Buffalo and then beat the Bills?
Easily they can. Easily.
And then because the NFL reseeds, then they would have to go to Arrowhead and play the Chiefs. And I think that they're capable of beating the Chiefs in a shootout. So technically, I know it sounds crazy. We could beat the Ravens, play whoever's left on the other side, Chargers or, Houston, whoever ends up winning one of those games. And the Steelers could find themselves an easy path to the AFC Championship game, as dumb as it sounds in that regard.
No, you're right. You're spot on. You're spot on. Realistically, we're probably going to have to go to Houston. If I was to guess, I think they're going to Houston.
So you think, all right, then let's get to it. You think they're beating the Bengals Saturday
I do.
night?
I think their back's up against the wall right now. I think there was a lot of problems. I mean, Tomlin had them in there for a couple days. They got a lot of stuff off their chest. So I think they bounce back, dude. And I think they bounce back because of this. I think this team can beat good teams. Like, I think they could beat good teams. I don't think they could beat great teams. I don't think the Bengals are a great team. I think they're a good team. I really do. Yeah. You're right. They're hot. They're piping hot at the right time. I do. But like, I feel like this is a little trappy type of game, with that line being Bengals -1.5, Steelers home dog. Tomlin home dog is really good as a small spread home dog. He really is. Regardless of, that Chiefs game and whatnot. But his record is what it is. He's a great home dog. I think they bounce back, dude. I think they're going to use Jaylen Warren a lot more. I think Najee will get some less touches. Pickens is the one that I'm so back and forth on him, Kevin, and I think we should talk about this for a little bit. The plays he makes are incredible sometimes.
Yep.
But the body language is just, if the Steelers are down, I mean, the body language is just so bad to the point where, like, it's like,
worrisome.
dude, I mean, come on, man. Like, we know you're a good wide receiver. Like, you're the heart and soul of this offense, you know, when it comes to, you know, fucking being a guy out there that can give us some splash and whatnot. But, dude, it's just been really, really bad at times, you know, over his career so far. And I'm worried. I don't know if the Steelers are going to pay him. I don't know.
So I had an idea that I'd floated to you. As much as we love George Pickens, and we do love George Pickens, I would probably feel more comfortable with the Steelers paying T. Higgins, drafting a wide receiver in the first round, making George play his 4th year. And then if you want to franchise tag him, you can get 1 more year out of him if you want to, and then probably cutting him loose. Because if you're not going to have a quarterback for him, if you're not going to have a quarterback for George Pickens, I don't think he's the type of guy who will play, I don't know that he's ever going to be the guy you want on your team if you're not going to have a quarterback that's capable of feeding him at an elite level. I think that's just a reality of it. I think he's just one of those guys, he has to get his. And that doesn't mean you can't win with him. I'm just saying the way the Steelers prefer to play football, which is going to be run first, and you're not going to pad stats the way that I think George Pickens has the ability to do and wants to do. You know, and that's a credit to him. I think he is fully capable of being the best wide receiver in football if he's getting the ball. The problem is if George doesn't get the ball, and I don't think he's going to be in an offense that he's going to be getting the ball with Arthur Smith as much as he might want to. I just see that as a major concern down the road.
Oh, for sure. And let's be real too. Like, we've been watching George Pickens for the last couple of years. He's not the best route runner by any means. I thought it would get a little bit better this year. I mean, towards the end of that game, he wasn't even trying. I mean, he wasn't even that 4th quarter, he wasn't even trying to run routes. I mean, so like somebody, and it seems like Tomlin's a big time defending him nonstop.
Huge.
Always.
And I think that's honestly because Mike Tomlin knows he has to keep George, has to keep him calm.
Yeah, 100%.
And he can't call him out in public. I think that is when George would turn into the bad kid. Oh, you make me look stupid in public. Watch this. And I think Tomlin knows that. And that's, again, one of the credits to Tomlin. He knows how to play the guys the way he has to. Okay. Chess, not checkers. He said it the other day. By the same token, definitely he knows he needs George Pickens out there. Like he knows he needs George. The only way they have any chance at winning is with George Pickens out there. And so he's just doing everything he can to keep things cool and calm right now.
Yeah, I mean, you see the product without him out there is bad, is really, really bad. So I don't know, man. They're in a weird spot. I think Roman Wilson, the pick, while it might have been a good pick, it just sucks. You know what I mean? You don't know.
We might see him soon, though. His 21-day IR window, the Steelers opened it yesterday. They have 21 days to activate him. So, I heard Arthur Smith say something today about there's a chance that he plays the longer the Steelers season goes on. The odds that he plays go up. So he looks good, though, Jerry. I don't know if you've seen his practice videos. He looks crisp. He looks fast. He looks explosive. That offense needs fast and explosive. I don't give a fuck in the form of who it comes from. I would like to see him play Saturday night against the Bengals. Just let's get a look at what he looks like going into next year.
I know, dude. That's the thing. And the thing is, like, weird to me is like, you go after at the deadline, you go get Mike Williams. It's like he's not even on the field for
right.
He's on the field for like 20-30% of snaps. I mean, they don't use him. You know what I mean? It's like, it's weird what they do on offense. Like, they have Scotty Miller, out there just doing cardio. Pretty much.
And that's why would you not try and see him play? It's not like baseball where if a guy plays, you're going to take a year off his deal in arbitration. This is it. I would want to see him this year before we go into the offseason and free agency and the draft. Don't you want to see if he has anything he's capable of doing on an NFL football field? And this is a game that's almost, I don't want to say meaningless, but it is, you're in the playoffs regardless the following week. You're on the road, more than likely. The Ravens are not going to lose to the dog shit Browns, not twice in a season, and especially not at home. I would be stunned if it happened.
Me too.
So don't you want to use this week to try and see what this guy has? Try some new shit maybe that you might have to roll out in the playoffs if you want to fucking win games then?
I'd love for him to play this week. I just don't see it. I don't think I don't
think he plays either, which sucks. I hate having the conversations.
I know. It's terrible, man. It really is. You know, you want to see a guy that you drafted in the third round, you know, get on the football field. Also, I mean, how long are these like hamstring injuries nowadays? I mean, it's
insane.
crazy.
It is insane.
6 weeks is crazy.
And that's the thing. He had to hurts his ankle in training camp, and then he goes through the law where he starts the season on IR. You don't see him first 4 weeks. They activate him. He's healthy, and then he hurts the hamstring, and he's been out since then. So this guy, you know, and Tomlin says he can't get on a moving train. I don't know, Jerry. How hard is it to get in this offense's moving train?
Yeah.
This train's fucking broken down, basically. I'm sure he can hop on the fucking train right now.
Oh, exactly. And if anything, it gives you a little spark, maybe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, Scotty Miller's not cutting it. Van Jefferson's not cutting it. Ben Skoranek isn't cutting it. You know what I mean?
So just throw him out there. I want to see him Saturday night. I want to see him Saturday night against the Bengals. This is fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, no, it is. Kevin, listen. If George Pickens doesn't get, I was looking at something the other day. If he doesn't get more than 65 yards, I believe, I think it's 65 or 70, they pretty much lose every game if he doesn't get his 65, 70.
That's the magic number. Steelers win if George gets 65 to 70 yards.
Yeah, 65, 70, they pretty much win the game. You know what I mean? So I mean, you got to feed him the ball. Listen, and another thing I would like, too, is I don't mind the picks that are, which Russ hasn't thrown many of them this year, that are like those, you know, like, not that it's a free interception, but it changes the field. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a punt. Basically a deep ball, third down punt.
Just throw it up to him, dude.
Right.
I mean, they got to figure out a way to just keep getting in the red zone and then fucking score, dude. Just throw it up sometimes to him, dude. He's proved to you, you know, for a couple years now in this league, more than likely he's probably going to come down with it.
Right. I don't, the game plan, Jerry, entirely, the game plan, the play calling, the scheme, it's all just been kind of shit the last few weeks. And I don't know, you know, because I said this to you the other night when we were talking. Does it not feel for like large portions of the game that Matt Canada is the same as Arthur Smith? Like the game feels the same. Like it is so uninnovative. It is so boring, bland. Let's run the fucking football, you know, and the only times the offense has looked real is when they've let Russ come out and pass to start the game, you know, and it makes me wonder. Again, it comes back to, for me, this has to be a philosophy from the top down. This has got to be Mike Tomlin saying, like, you know, let's start the games controlled, safe, calm, we'll run the ball, because there's no fucking way every coordinator that the Steelers have forever, dating back to Todd Haley, decides that they want to play small ball all the fucking time. Russell Wilson is not a rookie quarterback, Jerry. He's not. No. So that doing this is insane. I don't know what the value is.
Kevin, you watch teams like the Vikings, teams like the Lions, teams like the Packers. You watch their first drives sometimes. They might run the ball, you know, on some of their drives 2-3 times. And the rest, 8, 12, 8, 10, you know, 11, 12.
It's a passing league.
They're passing. You know what I mean? And they're scoring touchdowns opening drives left and right. So, like, you got to pass the ball, dude. You got to pass the ball. Enough. Listen, I know you want to, you know, use the run to set up play action. I get that. But sometimes you need to start passing to open up the run game, you know?
Right, and they've forgotten that. They were good at it through the middle stretch of the season, but now as the road has narrowed, it's like, you know, the Mike Tomlin-led teams like to talk as though they'll be ready, they'll be up for the fucking challenge, but they get small in the big moments. Like, that's the reality of it, Jerry. The Steelers get small in the biggest moments. I'm going to read you, I sent you this fucking tweet, and this will be where we'll end the shitting on that game, but this is crazy. The Steelers have allowed at least 31 points in 5 straight playoff games. That's an NFL record. Now remember, defensive first team, right, Jerry? Defensive first head coach. Roster is built to be a defensive first team, and it has been since the Killer Bee days. The 2016 Steelers allowed a season-high 36 points to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. The 2017 Steelers allowed a season-high 45 yards to the Jaguars in the AFC Divisional Round. The 2020 Steelers allowed the highest points of the season in the playoffs in the wild card round to the Browns at 48. The 2021 team gave up a season-high 42 in the AFC wild card game to the Chiefs. The 2023 Steelers gave up a season-high 31 to the Bills in the AFC wild card game. And Tomlin is the only coach in NFL history to allow his a season high in points in 5 straight postseason appearances. No one else's streak in coaching history is longer than 3.
Pretty crazy, isn't it?
That's damning for a guy that they say is a defensive guru, Jerry. Like, the numbers don't lie at this point, brother. Like, if they don't really decide that in this offseason that you better change the way your roster is constructed and you better focus on the fucking offense, come January next year, Jerry Don, I'll be looking into this fucking camera at that face again and saying the same shit.
Oh, yeah, dude. Nothing's going to change. And my opinion is nothing will change, you know? That I feel like the Roonies are just like okay with just being this team that goes 10-7. You know what I mean? I just feel like they're just fine with it. They're cheap. They don't pay coaches. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you brought that up the other day that the Steelers, you were, I want to say it was Chris Carter maybe or Alan Saunders, one of these guys you were reading some of their stats. The Steelers have like one of the smallest coaching staffs. Like they don't spend money on coaching, and you're gonna have to.
Yeah, you have to, dude. You have to. You know, so like head coach is completely off the table. Like they are not.
Tomlin's not going anywhere. I've accepted that. And while it's not what I agree with, and that does not mean I don't think he's a good coach and capable of winning again, I think it's an Andy Reid thing. It has gone stale in Pittsburgh. I say this every year. It's just gone stale. I would just like something new. We're not going to get that though, so I'll put that to bed yet again. I want every other fucking head that sucks below him, and that means Pat Meyer too, Jerry. The offensive line has sucked way too many years for that guy to keep getting a fucking pass.
Yeah, I get it, dude. They're young. I understand that, but like, dude, these last couple weeks they have been so bad,
horrendous.
I mean, to the point where like you're watching it and you're just like, what the fuck, dude? It looks like they're just so overpowered, outmatched. Like guys are getting beat off the ball. It's just crazy, dude. Both tackles, you know, while Dan Moore started the year pretty fucking damn good, he did. He's fallen off a cliff. Broderick Jones has fallen off a cliff.
Dan Moore's the second worst ranked tackle in football for the last 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, he's fallen off a cliff.
He's back to a pumpkin. He's back to a pumpkin. Yeah, I would honestly, if Fontenot's window could open, which, you know, who knows if he would be able to play this season, I would like to fucking throw him in at right tackle and slide Broderick Jones over to left tackle because you know Dan Moore's not in your cards next year. I would just like to get that fucking going as quickly as possible if we could.
They won't. They won't, though. They won't. And also, like, you know, the last game with the Chiefs, the last thing I'll say is this. You know, the only real injury we had that was Joey Porter who missed that game, right?
Yeah, and he's going to be playing this Saturday night. Tomlin said everybody is going to play. So, yeah, you don't have excuses, though. You don't have the excuse.
Yeah. No, I don't think Joey Porter changes that game at all. I don't.
No. It's honestly, we gotta say, Beanie Bishop should play over Cam Sutton. And if he doesn't, if Cam Sutton goes out there again, that's the Steelers' stubbornness and unwillingness to look themselves in the mirror and say, okay, this is obviously not working. Let's go back to what was working. Because in the first half of the season, Jerry, we thought we had a juggernaut of a defense. Is that because we played shitty teams, or is that because we are now dealing with both what Tomlin says, injuries and miscommunications as a result of injuries?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably a little bit of both, to be honest, I'd say.
Yeah, but I'm done with the excuses. Like, I don't give a fuck what it is because it looks like this every year. So, like, we have other excuses every other year. No, this is, for me, Jerry, and I think for you and all Steelers fans that are logical about this, I'm done with the talking. It's time to fucking nut up and do it now. Like, you can't do this every year. The Steelers, Jerry, there's only fucking 6 teams that have waited longer to win a playoff game than the Pittsburgh Steelers. 6 teams in the NFL. So if they don't win a playoff game this year, that is absolutely insane. There are only 6 teams that have waited longer than the almighty Pittsburgh Steelers, Jerry.
I wonder if any of them are in the playoffs this year with the Steelers.
I can't remember. I think I actually posted. I actually want to say that I tweeted the link, so we'll take a look at it here real quick.
I wonder if Chargers? No. Could they actually? Maybe.
So it is.
Might be the Chargers.
Dolphins, Raiders, Commanders.
Oh, Commanders will be in.
Bears, Jets, Broncos, Panthers,
they could be in.
Cardinals. So two of those teams could get in. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 of those teams could get in. Yeah,
but look at those teams we named, Jerry. Dolphins, Raiders, Commanders, Bears, Jets, Cardinals, Panthers, Broncos. Then the Steelers.
Yeah,
that is how
all bottom.
It, again, couldn't be more of a dark time for the lights to go out yet again on us, Jerry, when we have to talk about it being the dog shittest franchises of the NFL are the only teams below us. The Browns have one playoff game, and it was us more recently. Like, that's where I my patience is so lacking with this football team now. It's just lacking. Let's get into...
you know what the best thing about being a fan is? At the end of the day, you're just going to continue to believe, and you're just going to be like, hey, there's still a, even if we lose to the Bengals, there's still a chance. You know what I mean?
That's just, it's true. And you know that we're going to fucking do it. And that's the saddest part about this. It's sick. Like, we're sick that we do this to ourselves, because I could pretty easily talk myself back into it, just because we've seen them play very good football when they're clicking, when they are getting the takeaways. You know, I just want to see one of those games, instead of it being against a shitty team. And to Tomlin's credit, when he said the ball's not bouncing our way, we have both said that. Like, the turnovers are there. They've knocked the ball loose on the Chiefs. They knocked the ball loose. It looks like they should have had takeaways in that game. They just didn't get them. I think that I'm ready to see them fucking get one in a playoff game, in a big-time game against a big-time team. Eventually, those are going to go our way. What's the outcome going to look like then?
Yeah, exactly. You know, more than likely, they'll probably win.
Right. And so if they play good and they play sound defense, it's not as though the defense is not capable. It's just they haven't shown us they can do it against an elite team other than the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, we're not asking the defense to come out and shut a team out or hold a team to 10 points. We're not doing that.
I would say play an elite offense and keep it to 20 or less. I would be totally happy with that. I'm talking Bills. Yeah. If they did it to the Bengals Saturday night, 20 or less, I would be fucking thrilled going into the playoffs.
23, 24, you should be able to put up that magic number, 27. That's the magic number.
100%. So, like, that's where I'm at. Let's look at the game Saturday night against the Bengals. So let's do predictions. You think that they're going to win? You say that they're going to win.
I think they will. You know, the only thing that scares me about saying that is if they come out, you know, they're down 14-0. I think Tomlin, or 17-0 or something like that. I think you'll see Tomlin, you know, on his little quit watch, where he's like, yeah, this game is pretty much done. We
will know the result of that Ravens game from earlier.
Exactly. That's why it's a little bit scary. You know what I mean? So, but at the same token, it's like, does he really want to go into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak?
Right.
I think that's a bad idea.
And then, Jerry, if they do lose first round to the Ravens, then hypothetically we're the 6th seed and they lost 5 in a row to end the season, we're talking another Tomlin special meltdown. Like, then the criticisms get louder and louder and louder. At some point, man, you got to answer the bell here and actually fucking win in the playoffs. I don't know. I can't say it anymore. Coming up on almost a decade if they don't get it done this year.
What would it be, 8 years in a row?
8 years. 8 fucking years. That's insane. That's crazy, Jerry.
That's bad. And honestly, you know, even going into the year, even before we even played a snap, I thought we had a really good roster. You know,
so did I. Better than last year. I mean, I didn't think we had many major holes. I really did not think we had many major holes. Wide receiver was our biggest concern, and it turned out to be our biggest issue.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The game Saturday night, Bengals come to town. Steelers are +1.5, so they are home dogs. The over-under is 48.5. It is even money line if you take the Steelers. What are your... I don't even remember what your bets were last week, Jerry. You took Jaylen Warren, I want to say.
Rushing and receiving, I believe. He hit.
Yeah, you hit that. You took the Steelers plus the points, I want to say.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that one lost probably 1-1, I believe. I'll keep it simple this week. I probably got one bet, so I'll go with the Steelers +1.5. I think they win the game, so that's going to be my only play.
I'm taking the over 48.5. Until our defense proves to me again that it can actually play good defense. It was a shootout last time. We scored, you know, how many points did we score last time we played them? 44, something high like that.
Something like that.
So, I mean, at 20, I would say at a minimum the Steelers are scoring, you would hope, 20 points. 48.5, I think I would take the over for sure on that bet. I don't know, Jerry. I think they lose again. I do, man. I don't. It's so hard to. It's just so hard to just get better.
A lot of people do.
It's so hard to just play better football after playing bad that long.
I know, and they had a little break though. They had 10, 11 days, I believe. They had a bit of a break. Listen, they're not going to just shut down Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. They're not going to just magically shut them down. So, like, your offense is going to have to step up. It's going to have to step up and step up quick because like I said, this game could be 17-0 quick, 14-0 quick. If they don't score off the bat, they don't score early in the game, they're in a lot of trouble.
I think almost you have to treat this as a must-win game, just because if you want to go into the playoffs, you don't want to have last 4 in a row to go into the playoffs. You need to right the ship. Like I just think the realistic case for us, if you want to try and make a crazy scenario where the Steelers make a run in the playoffs, it has to start with the Bengals game Saturday night. You're at home. It's the last time likely you're going to be home this season. You're going to have to get the fucking ship corrected. It's the only way you go into the playoffs, I think, and it works out for you, is if you win Saturday night. Because I think the Texans are a very beatable football team. I really do think they're struggling. I almost feel bad for them.
Yeah, they need that confidence back. You know what I mean? They need to get out there, get the win, and tell themselves, like, hey, listen, like we could win games. We could win games against good teams. You know what I mean? Let's start ramping it up a little bit. And if they win this Bengals game, I think they're going to go into to Houston and beat them. I do.
I agree. I think if they beat the Bengals, I could easily see them beating the Texans. Yeah. Like I would almost guarantee you that they would beat the Texans then.
I think, honestly, here's my take. I think if they beat the Bengals, the Steelers will be a favorite going into Houston. I think they'll probably be -1, -2.5, something like that, -3, something like that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think that's almost a guarantee. The Texans are reeling. They're probably the only team worse than us in the playoffs, in my opinion, right now, playing football right now.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Steelers aren't a good team overall. It's just the product they're giving us right now. I think the Texans are the only team struggling more than we are.
Yeah. I think they could turn it around. Do I think this team can win a Super Bowl? No, I don't. Right now, no. Definitely not. I don't think so by any means. They haven't proved to me or the fan base otherwise. You know what I mean? But it'd be nice to get a fucking playoff win. It would. And it kind of sucks, saying that. But, hey, they win a playoff game this year, maybe 1 or 2. All right, they're getting a little bit closer. A little bit closer.
Just get the monkey off the fucking back. But again, I just think fundamentally, they have got to focus on offense. Like what's insane is we're talking about scenarios where the Bengals could backdoor 7 seed into the playoffs, and as wild as it may seem, there's not crazy for us to say they could make it to the AFC title game or at least upset one of the Bills or the Chiefs.
No, definitely not.
Why is that? When we talk about them having the most dog shit defense ever, it's because they score in buckets, dude. And the other thing, don't tell me you need a Joe. Yeah, it's easy when you have a Joe Burrow. Fucking Jared Goff was a scrum bum crumb motherfucker, Jerry. Yeah. And look what he's doing with the Lions. It's a scheme thing. It's a scheme thing.
Sam Darnold, look at him.
Right. Another guy. It's all scheme. It's coaching. You cannot convince me that these guys just magically fucking turn it on. They're in great schemes because they have good coaching around them. That is where I will end the conversation with it, because until the Steelers prove to me they have legitimately qualified good coaching staffs that put their teams in positions like inferior quarterbacks or like quarterbacks I would put on Russ's level, you can't tell me Sam Darnold and Jared Goff are better than Russ right now. Jared Goff maybe, not Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you have to look at what they have surrounding them, though. It's a lot different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they got all-pro wide receivers, incredible offensive lines, incredible running games. You know what I mean? It's just different. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The Steelers just don't have, we think they have weapons on offense, but I don't think they do. I think Jalen Warren is good. I think Pat Freiermuth is good. I think George Pickens is good. I don't think anybody's great, though. Nobody's great if you really think about it, right?
Well, is it more so because of they're not having the ability to showcase how great they are? That's how I feel about it. I think if you brought in who is it? Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is the fucking wonder kid OC. I think if the Steelers had Ben Johnson, calling the plays for them, I think Jalen Warren in space would be used a lot more like Jahmyr Gibbs is used in space. Pat Freiermuth is as good a tight end at pass catching as I think as there is in the league. I could put him in the top 5 if I had to make an argument, if he was fed the ball the way that he should be. George Pickens, all the talent in the world. You know, they're lacking that other playmaker. You're lacking where you would want Calvin Austin to be that next guy, unfortunately, that we would have to mention. And that's a big thing. That's a big fucking thing that they're going to have to look at in this offseason. But even regardless, still, I think if they had better offensive line coaching, like, how long are we just going to accept a dog shit O-line for how much talent we've fucking put into that offensive line?
I know. It's year after year. We try to, make switches and whatnot, and nothing seems to be working.
No, they get worn down at the end of the year. They get blown up. They never bully the line of scrimmage. And I'm hoping after this season, maybe they hit the rookie wall. I heard Big Ben talking about it on his show. He said it feels like the Steelers' O-line between McCormick and Zach Frazier, it feels like these guys have hit their rookie wall. So maybe that's what it is. I'm tired of there's always a reason. I'm done with reasons. I want results. Like, that's where I'm at with it.
No, I agree.
I have nothing else, Jerry. Is there anything else? We apologize. It has taken us so long to get an episode out to you guys after Christmas. I didn't even want to. This is 8 days later now, 7 days later after that game, and if we had recorded, exactly. Like, if we had recorded right after, it would have been terrible. I don't even know if we could have aired it. But we will do another episode. Sunday. We'll record Sunday morning. Jerry has to stream at the Gambling Cave, so we'll definitely record an episode Sunday morning, and we'll get it out Monday morning, and then we will look ahead to the playoffs from there. We appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We hope you had a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas with your family. Like, comment, subscribe. Jerry, Don, anything you want for the people?
No, man, just appreciate everybody listening, tuning in. Like Kevin said, sorry about the break. Holidays and whatnot. We were just both pissed. Schedules were kind of tough. But, we'll be back. We'll be back after this Bengals game. Hopefully, we come back with a win.
All right, we appreciate you guys.
All right, see you guys.
Later, Jerry.
We're here. We're still here.
We are still here.